Emilie Kinich. I don't believe we've met. If you'd like to request my services, please brief me on the job and state what you're willing to pay.
That's your pitch? Ugh, come on, man, you're killing me! You're supposed to tell them what a pro you are, play up your past experience, set their expectations high, and then you say, and that's why I charge a higher price than most. Ugh, don't you know anything about doing business? How did the almighty Dragon Lord How end up stuck in a contract with such a clueless moron? Oh, the humiliation.
No salutations needed. My exalted status shall not be disclosed as we travel among the common folk. I acknowledge that you are a person of superior ability. Henceforth, you will be my guard. Worry not. Should any danger arise, I shall dispose of it.
Emotional support is important. Emotional support is important.
Here's backup! Midnight Phantasmagoria!
Let's spark things up a little.
You asked for it!
Fire it up!
By royal
Come a little closer.
justice will prevail! Wings of darkness! Come, sever night for...
I got you covered!
Try not to enjoy this too much.
Stop right there! Ha! You asked for it! Shadow Raven!
Surrender and be gentle.
Glory to the Shogun! Flash! Let the show begin. Eat this! No turning back!
Dodge this! Supporting fire! Don't get frostbite.
Time for your arraignment! Motion to compel! You're toast!
I got you covered! This moment will be frozen in time.
Breath of the flame! Adventure time! Teamwork is dreamwork! Let me leave you a verse.
Inazuma shines eternal! Shine down!
Everybody stand back! Boba, get them! Rain outlines her fate. Know my sword!
Torn to oblivion! Illusion shattered!
Teamwork is dreamwork! You're toast! Rain cutter!
Shine down! Now you shall perish!
Running away?
For the Lord of the Night! Here's backup!
Nahida and compare! Especially not when you're in a bad mood. Measly insects! Now you must pay.
Is this really necessary?
Don't get too close!
Just like we rehearsed! I'm the right man, it's you!
I got him cornered! Fire it up!
Nice and spicy!
Supporting fire!
Bow before your king! Submit your soul in sacrifice!
My mistake!
You're toast!
Check this out!
Go! Clorinde, help!
Locked on! Huh. Don't get too close! Here's backup! Shadow cast! Mind to command! Target acquired!
None can compare!